Tonight, the Port Augusta solar thermal plant gets the green light from the state government. And the Port Lincoln restaurant taking out a top gong just 2 weeks after opening its doors.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. Port Augusta's long-awaited solar thermal project has received development approval. The company says it's one of the major milestones before the $650 million project begins construction this year.
No more clouds of doubt hanging over Aurora's go-ahead as Port Augusta's solar thermal project receives a state government tick of approval.
And we're off and away, and it's an exciting future for Port Augusta.
It's a process that the state government goes through to assess the social, the environmental, the planning and the development aspects of the project.
After lodging a development application in September last year, the Solar Reserve's $650 million solar thermal power plant has now reached what it says is a significant milestone. An announcement Port Augusta's mayor says seals the deal.
A lot of the projects we've been talking about as a community are now actually really coming to fruition.
And we want to see those 650 workers that they say are going to be around town. We want to see them in here, in this town, supporting this town.
While the $110 million federal government loan is still under negotiation, the company says it's well on track to finalise engineering contracts and is expecting to reach financial close in the first quarter of this year.
There'll be an announcement on that, and that really triggers the start of the construction of the project.
Well, this is a very exciting development for solar thermal in Port Augusta. This is going to mean 650 construction jobs, 50 full-time jobs once it's completed, and also an additional armoury for our electricity system and additional competition.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
The National Disability Insurance Scheme is officially online on the Eyre Peninsula, with more than 1,000 people set to gain access to the system. The state government is also touting it as a job creator.
After a decade in the making, the NDIS is now available to residents across the EP. The scheme went online on New Year's Day, giving local disabled people a new way to help manage their needs.
South Australians with disability will be able to have better choice and control about the services and supports that they receive.
While as local MP Eddie Hughes says it's a win for those who have been forced to travel long distances to gain access to support.
The larger centres like Wyler should be well serviced, but we should not forget those smaller communities where there are also people with disabilities.
The scheme is being billed as an employment boost as well. Mr Hughes says an estimated 300 extra jobs will be needed in the region to meet service needs as more people sign up.
Clearly on the go, some growth, so it is an area that people will be able to find employment.
For more information on how to access the NDIS, head to our Facebook page. John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
A motorist narrowly escaped serious injury when a truck collided with her car near Port Lincoln this afternoon. At around midday, a semi-trailer smashed into the back of a black Mitsubishi Outlander on Western Approach Road. The truck caused significant damage to the car, totalling the rear end and smashing the back windscreen. Police and emergency services cordoned part of the road off while the scene was cleared. The state government has launched a new website in a bid to tackle the scourge of drugs and alcohol on society. The Know Your Options website is part of the Stop the Hurt campaign, established to educate users.
It's the scourge that has shocking impacts in regional towns, reaching new levels throughout our state.
We know that ice use has been on the rise throughout Australia.
But now there's a new online tool to combat rising addiction. The Know Your Options online portal is a one-stop shop coordinating services and drug treatment options that exist across South Australia.
It's designed to be a great resource for those people using drugs and alcohol in a way that isn't appropriate, or want to be able to provide support to a family member or a friend.
The website is the government's latest tool in its arsenal to fight back against the rise of drugs and alcohol abuse. Its development allowing those living in small communities better access to regional help.
Getting the information in the hands of community members, particularly in our regions where sometimes it's harder to find appropriate services, is a really important step forward.
But the Minister says education is our biggest tool to preventing future misuse.
Drugs, on the other hand, are downright dangerous, and it's important that we get kids the appropriate messages.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Police across the mid-north are urging drivers to be more cautious on our country roads. It follows numerous reports of cars illegally overtaking and driving on the wrong side of the road, as you're about to see.
Lives put at risk as this white four-wheel drive is captured dangerously overtaking while travelling on the Augusta Highway near Waroona Island earlier this year. Many motorists, including this driver, think it's safe and legal to overtake at this point in time, but that's not the case.
That you are only to overtake where both lanes in the opposite direction are clear of traffic. That is both lanes, not single lane.
Local police are disappointed with the amount of drivers taking unnecessary risks.
People driving in the double lane are not expecting to find somebody else travelling in the opposite direction, I should say, into their lane.
It's a strong warning to all motorists of the dangers of overtaking, especially when travelling at high speeds.
A person travelling over the speed limit by 5 or 10 kilometres will always increase their chances of being involved in a collision.
Police will be out in force over the coming weeks to ensure everyone is following the road rules. And know if you are caught breaking the rules, it will come at a hefty price.
Fines could range from $200 or $300 up to $400 or $500 depending on what the offences are that have been committed.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
In the news ahead, the Whyalla tourism operator who says why the town's airport has the potential for international flights. That story shortly. An 18-year-old man has faced court in Broken Hill today on a raft of theft charges. Police have been investigating a number of break-ins across town, which led to the arrest of the teenager yesterday. A home in Willis Street was also raided last night, where officers seized a firearm believed to have been stolen, as well as other property. Police say the investigation is continuing. A 33-year-old man is turning a family tragedy into a world record attempt, all the while trying to raise awareness for mental health. Southern Cross News caught up with Ben Woods on the Port Augusta leg of his ride for Jace.
3 years ago, Ben Woods lost his brother and best mate.
Because I believe that if Jace had that chance to hear a bit more about mental health, he might have been able to talk about it a bit more.
Ben and Jace were best friends, so he was always with us, so I miss him a lot too.
Jace's death was just one of over 3,000 suicides that occur in Australia every year. Now his brother Ben is riding around Australia in a world record attempt at the longest journey by bicycle in a single country. He's stopping in Port Augusta for a well-earned break.
And also it's great for me and my brother if we can get in the Guinness World Records. We always loved it as kids, so it's pretty proud for me.
He's also carrying an important message along the way.
I mean, you don't need to tell everyone, but just try and tell at least someone that's close to you, and that way you can get the help.
Ben has spoken to over 8 schools so far while raising funds for the Black Dog Institute.
And trying to raise that mental awareness and that exposure around suicide prevention, so that, someone else doesn't have to lose a loved one like we did in our family.
His wife, Kat, is a tireless support.
I feel like I have the easy job because I'm sitting in an air-conditioned van. But I am enjoying it, being there for him.
And if you see us out on the road, give us a toot, give us a wave, and we appreciate all the support.
To donate, head to our Facebook page. Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Whyalla Council is being encouraged to upgrade its airport to cater for the potential of international flights. It comes after suggestions the Steel City could become a hub for the Eyre Peninsula and Flinders Ranges.
Jeff Hardiman has worked both here in Whyalla and Alice Springs in the tourism industry for more than 20 years. He says the similarities between the regions go beyond just climate. Like the desert city, he believes Whyalla is in a perfect position to be the gate to the natural wonders in our region.
We've got the beautiful ocean, we've got the Flinders Ranges, we've got Wilpena Pound, which is 3 hours away, we've got Port Lincoln, we've got all those things.
But he claims the town is being limited by the local airport's runway.
The tarmac repaired or extended to allow jets to come in.
At its last meeting, Whyalla Council agreed to review its airport master plan. In a statement, Chief Executive Chris Cowley says with Whyalla's future secured, the time has come to look at how the site can serve a growing Whyalla. And with mine development booming, a new runway could serve a growing workforce.
Whyalla's on a growth spurt, and what the population need to do is get in behind this and support it.
Previous plans have hit turbulence due to cost and a lack of demand. And while Mr Hardiman agrees the plans are lofty, he says Whyalla shouldn't be afraid to explore new opportunities.
To say that it's out of the reach, or this airport extension's out of the reach of Whyalla, I think is just people aren't really seeing the big picture.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
The Port Pirie and District's Road Safety Group is in for an upgrade. With support from the state government, the centre's providing state-of-the-art equipment to help young children learn how to stay safe on the road.
Learning the road rules are an important part we all remember from our childhoods, and now it'll be easier for children across the mid-north.
The grant we've got today from Mr Brock is $5,000, and that will go a long way to help us purchase new equipment.
With over 500 children a year riding on the bike since the centre first opened, it's certainly time for an upgrade.
Back in the 1970s. It looks fantastic. It's got no ball bearings in it, but it is very safe. It's got all the stuff on it. But we need to be able to get the best equipment for the young kids to be able to ride.
Purchase some more bikes and some more scooters, upgrade our helmets, and in general make it easy for the children to learn the road rules.
The aim is to keep drumming road safety into the younger community.
They are our future L-platers and P-platers. So if they can sit in the back seat and say to Mum, there's a red light, Mum, you have to stop, or there's a train coming, Mum, you have to slow down, that's what it's all about.
Come here, you have to look both ways and stop at a red light.
The new equipment's set to roll in soon, giving children the confidence to get out there and have a go.
A new bike because I will feel really confident.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Stay with us after the break. The Port Lincoln restaurant winning awards just 15 days since opening its doors. That's next. Well, the start of 2018 has been a busy one for the Silverton Hotel as it prepares to host 3 major events. A number of country music artists are set to descend on the far west for some outback festivals.
Today was a regular day at the Silverton Hotel. Visitors are plenty with drinks flowing to keep them cool. And even more are expected to converge on the best bush pub in the state, with 2 music festivals pencilled in to start the year.
We're all pumped up for this at the moment, it's great.
The Country Music Muster will be held over the Australia Day long weekend.
4th year that we've had it now, and it's usually well supported, so we've got a good line-up again, and it's all action for the Sunday on the 28th of January.
The pub will also launch a new event at the end of February. The Silverton Sunsets Music Festival brings together a great selection of country artists in a laid-back setting.
We've got John Williamson, Adam Harvey and the Sunny Cowgirls, plus plenty of other great acts. It'll run for all day Saturday. We've got marquees and, yeah, it's a really great event. It's an acoustic event.
More details can be found on our Facebook page. And the work won't stop there with the traditional St Pat's Recovery Day coming in March.
We've got some good bands teed up for that, and it'll be just bigger and better.
In Silverton, Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
Just 2 weeks since opening its doors, Port Lincoln's Line and Label restaurant has been awarded a prestigious chef hat. The Australian Food Guide has recognised the dining destination, which has ties to celebrity chef Pete Evans.
It's the EP's latest dining hotspot, already receiving a big cheers.
To receive a chef's hat in only the first month of trading is unprecedented in Australia, and we're very fortunate to be the recipients of such a prestigious award.
Line and Label restaurant Peter Teagle Wines awarded a coveted chef's hat by the Australian Food Guide, a first for the region. The honour has taken the owners by surprise, along with executive and celebrity chef Pete Evans.
We spoke to him in the States and told him about the award, and he was beside himself.
The award, in part, is thanks to local suppliers and producers.
The fresh produce is very, very important. You're starting with a terrific foundation, and what Josh does basically is to build on that.
Our ethos here is to only use produce that comes from the EP and to work with a number of amazing suppliers that give us nothing but the best produce. It speaks for itself.
The award comes as the restaurant prepares to launch its second summer menu, giving locals and visitors a further taste of the region.
We'll change our menu monthly, which gives us 12 exciting new menus every year, but we'll keep some of the popular favourites that people come back time and time again to enjoy.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Change of pace, time for Fuel Watch. Here's Pat.
Unleaded petrol prices are on the way back down as the new year gets underway, but the same can't be said for diesel. Starting with unleaded, Port Lincoln has made an improvement on its price before Christmas. A 1 cent drop has motorists pumping at $1.37. Whyalla has managed to break even over the holiday period, with Kadina also not seeing any movement. Port Augusta and Port Pirie are both seeing green, prices sitting around $1.37 and $1.35. Broken Hill has seen a slight change but is still the most expensive, while Adelaide cruises along on a cheap $1.25. To diesel now, and there's a lot more red on the board. Port Lincoln doesn't want a bar of it though, with its price down to $1.38. Whyalla is the worst performer in the Gulf, seeing a 4 cent spike to now sit on $1.37. Port Pirie and Port Augusta have both climbed by 3, Kadina by 2. Broken Hill is still one of the most expensive at $1.40, but the price is on the decline. Adelaide completes the board, not seeing much movement and hovering on $1.30. Now remember, these prices are the regional averages and they do not reflect any one particular outlet. If you happen to find a spot that does sell unleaded or diesel for cheaper, be sure to let us know on our Facebook page.
Stay with us. After the break, we'll have all the local weather details with Abby, and the heat's going to pack a punch tomorrow, Abby.
Yes, that's right, Fraser. It's going to be a scorcher, but it's looking like lovely conditions for your weekend plans. I'll have all the details next. Welcome back. Well, we saw some gorgeous conditions around most centres today. It was a warm one in Port Augusta, 34 the top. Lovely weather to the west, 26 the top for Port Lincoln. It remained hot in Broken Hill, but it cleared up after that storm cell swept through New South Wales. To the satellite now, and cloud in the southwest with a trough is causing showers and thunderstorms, but skies are generally clear elsewhere near high pressure. On the waters, southeasterly winds increasing up to 20 knots, seas at a metre with a south-southwesterly swell, and the sun will rise just before 6:20. And brace yourselves because it's going to be hot tomorrow. Port Augusta is heading for a scorching top of 42 degrees, the same in Corn. Broken Hill and Port Pirie will also join the 40s club, but we'll see some scattered showers and cooler temps in the west. Port Lincoln and Coffin Bay heading for temps in the low 30s, while temps will creep up into the high 30s in all other districts. Looking ahead, well, the dial's certainly going to rise in Cleve and Woodner tomorrow, but it won't be as hot in Port Lincoln. 31 the top with some scattered showers forecast. We'll see that patchy rain continue into Friday, but it will bring much cooler temperatures. Temps dropping to 24 degrees for Port Lincoln before some lovely sunny weather on the weekend with temps hovering around the mid-20s. Further up the Gulf, it will be a scorcher tomorrow as the mercury rises into the high 30s for Whyalla and Kadina, but it's Port Augusta that's going to sizzle, 42 the top there. But the good news is temps will cool off a lot to end the week with a bit of rain about before some lovely fine weather on the weekend. And lastly, it's going to be very hot in Port Pirie and Broken Hill with temps in the 40s tomorrow, so make sure you keep cool. For a change, bring some wet weather and sees temps drop off for Friday, except in Broken Hill, which is heading for a scorching 44 degrees. Again, we'll see some gorgeous conditions for your weekend plans. So, Fraser, brace yourself for the heat tomorrow.
Thanks, Abby. And that's all the news to now. Thanks for your company. Enjoy your evening. Good night.